Hello and welcome to Daily Cricket presents Cricktalk. I am Mohammad Isam, ESPN Crickinfo's Bangladesh correspondent, and with me is Atif Azam, Crickbuzz's Bangladesh correspondent. We start today's show with the big news coming from Kanpur, where Bangladesh are currently training for the second test match against India, which starts on Friday. The big news, of course, comes from Daily Cricket's correspondent Mesma Binon. He has informed us that Shakib Hasan only lasted 10 balls in the nets. He hasn't batted for long because he has a finger injury that we've been talking about in the last Chennai test match. I hand over the discussion now to Atif Bhai. Atif Bhai, what have you heard? What's going on in Kanpur?
No, Shakib, I even saw in the Daily Cricket's Facebook page that he was watching his finger after returning to chair. He just lasted for 8 to 10 balls and the last time in the first test, he had a finger injury. I mean, he was hit by Bumrah.
Right, yes.
And that was bleeding. That's one area that was concerning. And even Handan Sarkar was saying, the selector was saying that they'll be making a call on Shakib after seeing how he prepares in the nets. So it must be a big blow if Shakib eventually cannot make it as a team. But what I feel is that they still have one day to go and Shakib might try his luck. But if his finger is really not making him comfortable, what I know is that Shakib is someone who won't play if he's not comfortable. And Isam, I wanted to add one thing. I think that all the finger-related issues that cropped up from the press box was a bit over. I mean, was not what Shakib wanted to say.
Can you explain?
I just came to know from a very close source of mine that he just said that it was numb. My finger was numb. I'm feeling numb, and that was quite. It was quite natural, because you being a left-arm spinner, if you bowl 30 overs, and that too after a very long gap, because the last
60 overs.
No, 30 overs per innings.
Right, yes.
60 overs.
Yeah.
Because he last bowled more than 50 overs in 2022.
Right, against Sri Lanka.
You remember that match. So if you are a spinner who is just bowling in the one days and all these things and bowling for 5 overs, when you bowl for 30 overs in each innings, then your finger is naturally, there's a possibility that it can become numb.
True.
Because the workload management, because your workload, what we know about workload is that it is habituated to one way of handling the things. And now all of a sudden Shakib wanted to do something out of the box and it can feel numb. But his numbness, he never mentioned that this numbness is making me uncomfortable. He just mentioned that I'm not feeling anything in my finger. And being a left-arm spinner yourself, you must be knowing it much better than anybody else, because if you use the finger a lot, then at times you probably couldn't have feel that you are having any feeling.
Of course, Shakib didn't bowl that much in the
first match.
In the first test match in Chennai. He bowled just 21 overs. He went for 6 an over. It was very clear that he was struggling with that, with his finger, or maybe also his shoulder, which Murli Karthik mentioned in TV commentary. But Atif Bhai, tell me, what can we look at in terms of Bangladesh's 11 in Kanpur, where we are hearing that there will be a bit of a sort of like a spin condition, and India are likely to play 3 spinners, and Bangladesh, they have some backup in the team who could, if by chance Shakib doesn't play.
I think Nazmul also informed that Tajul bowled a lot of overs today,
right?
Quite a bit of overs today. They brought in Karappan in the way because at the back of their mind, they know that Yadav might play.
Kuldeep Yadav
might play in this game because it's his home town. So Bangladesh, I think that even if it's a spin track, Bangladesh won't go for 3 spinners.
Okay. Interesting. Why do you think?
Because they still have the faith in their pace unit and they don't want to lose that faith right away. They still have the faith that their pacers will do the trick for them. Because in the last match, what we saw is that the pacers did penetrate. Even if you heard you heard the press conference when he was asked why you didn't brought Shakib. Shanto. In the first 50 overs, he said that my pacers were doing well and Miraj was doing well. When you have your premier spinner in your artillery and you don't bring him inside 50 overs, That shows that you are having a lot of faith on your pacers.
No, look, Atif bhai, if conditions dictate that Bangladesh need 3 pacers, I have no problem with that. But it cannot be treated with emotion also.
Exactly.
I think
that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think it's better if we say Bangladesh face an attack or they are pretty sure that India is going to play 3 spinners. So India obviously knows these conditions better. It definitely means that Bangladesh has to think about it. And they have Naeem. Naeem is a very good spinner and he's a handy bat at 8 or 9. Taijul can handle himself.
And he scored runs.
Exactly. He scored runs in Pakistan.
Remember, he scored runs.
So if you have Mehdi batting at 5 or 6, you have Litton coming at 7, then you have 4 bowlers, and then Mehdi acts like a mini Shakib in that sort of way. Going back to the Chennai Test match, Atif bhai, I observed a few things in the Bangladesh team which tells me that they're slowly becoming a more mature team, but that process may be a slow process for fans or for people who are little impatient with the team. I think they won in Pakistan fair and square. They beat a very good team there, a home team which fought hard. I think Pakistan gave their all, but Pakistan is not India in terms of their skills or their application of those skills. Bangladesh did what they have to do in Rawalpindi. I think they headed to Chennai thinking that they will not surrender to India, which I felt was a bit of a negative way to look at things. They wanted to take it to the 4th day or the 5th day. They didn't want to think about a win. Of course, that's fine. But when you have come to India with a 2-0 series win against Pakistan, even that Indian lineup was also thinking about Bangladesh differently for the first time, probably, in at least Test cricket. So I thought that mentality that they had in Chennai, they cannot take it to Kanpur just because they lost by 280 runs in Chennai. What do you think? Do you think they should have a little more aggressive mindset, like the way the openers batted or the way Shanto batted, or at least the way they bowled on the first day? Do you think those are the things that they can take to Kanpur?
I just give an example. I was a bit surprised seeing Shanto spreading the field after 2 overs of Mehdi. When Mehdi came to the 3rd over, the field was spread.
Too soon.
These are very little things, but this gives a very big message.
Exactly. These are little things, but this tells the batting unit or India that we are still Bangladesh. We are still that
Bangladesh.
Old Bangladesh.
Exactly.
We are not this new team.
Even I won't mind, because one thing that we probably did not think that way is that bringing in Taijul can do one thing. He will not leak runs.
No.
Because Isam, if you seek Test cricket, Test cricket is all about bowling partnerships. It's not about you'll pick 4 wickets and I'll pick 4 wickets and the game is gone. Someone will have to squeeze the runs and someone will have to attack him, because he will probably, when someone is squeezing the runs, they'll probably try to attack the next bowler, other bowler. So he have more chances to get the wicket. Yeah. What I want to say is that it is not imperative to play 3 pace bowlers unless it is due. If the condition permits, you play 3, you play 4 pacers if required.
Yeah.
But it cannot be a template that Bangladesh have to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Templated cricket hurt Pakistan in Pakistan.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing is, and the second thing is that what I say is that from the Kanpur test, there's a pattern in Bangladesh. You just remember the Sri Lanka test. Bangladesh were up on them. They brought quick wickets, 56 for 4 or 6 like that. You remember them?
Of course, in Sylhet. Yes.
Yeah. And then we gave up.
For the rest of the series, Bangladesh gave up.
This is the same pattern that Bangladesh follows in everywhere. We get into a position of strength, and then suddenly, after they counter-attack or do something like that, we just fall back. In Test cricket, what I understand and there are times when everything will be just on that moment.
Yeah.
You have to recover from that moment. When the game will be stopped in a moment. In a moment is that Bangladesh is not doing anything. It's just not happening anything for them. That is the moment when you keep your calm. When nothing is happening, at least you try to understand that nothing is happening. Because in the Pakistan test, we played very well. We bowled in a channel, but that channel was not maintained in India.
True.
And the biggest thing is that we must understand that even if they want to bowl in that channel, that is not good enough in India. Because the wickets are different.
Wickets are different. The batsmen are very different.
Yeah, because I think that it was a brave decision for. I want to know from you, how do you take Nazmul Hasan's decision to bowl first?
In Chennai. Oh, I thought it was a very brave decision.
Exactly.
Honestly, no one does it.
No one does it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
because you are facing India on the fourth innings.
Yeah. I don't think, Atif bhai, I don't think they thought about the fourth innings. I think Bangladesh, you and I know it very well. They never plan for the fourth innings. They plan to stay in the game when they're abroad, especially. And we have covered test matches abroad in India together.
Yeah.
We have seen how they do well in the first two innings of the match. And then because of lack of fitness sometimes, lack of focus, lack of experience, they don't know really. You can't expect them to plan for the fourth innings. I don't think Nazmul Hasan was thinking of the fourth innings. He was just thinking of that, taking advantage of that first day. It was quite cloudy in Chennai, which was quite rare as well. And they made a big splash out of it. I think 144 for 6. But that is the thing. I mean, 144 for 6 doesn't win you a test match on the first day. 144 for 6 has to be converted to 220 all out. Then you can,
exactly.
Then
because he was playing, he was just counter attack. What Pan did was he just counter attack.
Absolutely.
Pan did not do anything out of his way. It's his way. He plays that way.
Yeah.
Well, so when he counter attack, rather than going for attacking him, if we have opted for defensive mindset that will not bowl to his channel. What Bangladesh wanted to do, they try to bowl short. So he plays a shot, and if he misses, then there's a chance. Rather than just letting him to counter attack, if we had made a different plan that we go defensive against them, we won't allow him to score runs. Right. Then it could have been a different ball game, because once Pant started batting, that also gives them the message to Ashwin and Jadeja that they can be played well. And another thing is the Isam, but just last about this test match, is that do you think that after this test series, Shakib need to sit and take a call on his test future? I mean that the age is coming up. I was talking with his mentor Salahuddin, and he was saying that the age when you get aged is a time when you get slow. Because of your age, you'll tend to get slow.
Yeah. So if he wants to prolong his international career, then he need to choose one format. And that is, he was also saying that you see most of the players after 35 choose one format. Because they just play one ball game, and they play that to the fullest. He was mentioning that because he was, and one other thing he mentioned to me, and I wanted to check out, and wanted to share it with you, is that Shakib needs a lot of training. Just game time won't allow him to prolong his career long. It is his fitness that needs to work, and that is not on game. Because you see, just Shakib, after playing this match, if he is not selected in the Indian series, T20s, then he'll go to America. He'll come back and play Test cricket. So the amount of training that he's not doing, he'll be missing a lot of training. I mean, physical training. No, I agree with you. I think, firstly, what you said, that he needs to sit with maybe the captain,
everyone,
maybe the coach, maybe the board president, and discuss selectors, of course, and discuss what he wants to do.
Yeah,
it does seem like it's a little scattered right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's playing all the formats that he's being asked to, because I think it's the last part of his career. That's one part, and that's a very interesting point you made, that Shakib needs a bit of training now. I mean physical training. It's not game. No, of course not. I think
because maybe his skill set is inside his mind.
Oh, of course. Before he came back from suspension, he spent a long time in BKC.
Exactly.
Before the 2019 World Cup, he had a great time with Salahuddin bhai. I personally think that maybe working under Salahuddin bhai or Fahim sir, although Fahim sir is not board director, but I think these are the people who make Shakib very comfortable. Maybe if he comes to Bangladesh, train under them during that. I think he doesn't need to play this T20 series. Bangladesh really needs to take a break from T20, and Bangladesh also, we'll have a discussion about it in our next episode, whether Bangladesh needs to rethink their T20 policy. But I think Shakib can be given a break here, try out a few players. But Shakib himself needs to, as you said, assess. At the age of 37, he's just turned Bangladesh's, he's just become Bangladesh's oldest test player. I remember personally in 2008, when Mohammad Rafiq retired in March in 2008, and then in October, and there was a huge storm that had happened in Bangladesh cricket. The group led by Habil Bashar, ICL, they are left with Mohammad Rafiq in that team. I was covering a test match in Chittagong against Bangladesh against New Zealand. And before that test match, Jamie Siddons was the head coach. He said that I give the responsibility of the attack leader as the attack leader. Shakib should be the attack leader. Shakib was just starting off. I don't think he even had 10 test wickets at that time. And I remember that test match like it was yesterday. I was with Utpal Shubro and all our seniors there. And it was a bold call. And first game, Shakib takes 7 wickets. 7 for 36. I think it's still his best bowling figure. So that day he stepped up. He's got 242 or 43 test wickets. He's now become a legend. But again, see how times change. It's 16 years ago. Now he has to take a call, and maybe.
Because Isam, it was surprising because I remember that Virat Kohli press conference where he was asked that whether Yashpal should be played in place of Rohit. He said the same thing what Shanta said. It's a brave question.
Brave question.
You remember?
Yeah.
But the question started.
No. The question will start, Atif bhai. I don't think that asking that question is wrong. You have to ask that question. You can ask it about anyone. You can ask Mushfiq, you can ask Riyad, you can ask Tamim, you can ask Mashrafi, you can ask Shakib. It's not a problem. Now, whether BCB has a succession plan, they don't really plan anything. The players do it themselves. I think Mehdi Miraj is now ready to bat at 5, bowl. There's certain things that he has to improve on. And I think Shakib also improved on a lot of things. Just to make a last point on this test series, I think Bangladesh, rather than thinking about what Shakib is going to do, whether he will play or not, I think Shanto, Chandik Hathurusinghe, they have to have a clear plan for Kanpur. Whether Shakib plays or not, the other 10 has to play much better, because you will remember that Shakib's contribution in Rawalpindi in those 2 test matches weren't that great. I mean...
No, I think that for last, if you see the last 6 months of Shakib's batting, he batted best in the last test match.
Yeah.
Batting wise.
Yeah.
Though he didn't score runs, but he was looking comfortable.
Yeah.
But even saying that, you cannot say that he is good enough. He can play a test match just on the basis of the batting.
Yeah. Truly.
So if he wants to play, I think that before going to the Kanpur test, after the Kanpur test, they immediately need to sit with Shakib.
Yeah.
And what the best thing is that his mentor, one-time mentor, Nazmul Hasan is still in India.
Right.
So they can call him, who will represent the board for himself in the meeting room,
right,
and know that what Shakib wants to do. Because I think playing the 2 tests against South Africa, if Shakib feels that if he doesn't play these 2 tests and he can prolong his ODI white ball career a bit longer, he does other things at this time. And I think that it might be a good call for him and for Bangladesh as well. Because Bangladesh need to think about tests without Shakib.
Yeah, absolutely. Atif bhai, I would switch lanes for a while. And just because you mentioned Nazmul Abidin Fahim and the cricket board and whether Shakib needs to talk to the cricket board or not about his career, I think there's a board meeting tomorrow.
The big board meeting.
The big board meeting. There's a few things that might happen. We are thinking that the board directors who are not around or who are missing, including Nazmul Hasan Papon, this is the 3rd meeting that they're going to miss. And from what you have told me earlier, before we started recording, is that whether or not the board president will decide whether he wants to apply that rule that if a board director misses 3 meetings, what happens after that, whether they will be kept in the board or not. That's one point. But you tell me something first. You spoke about Nazmul Abidin Fahim and the board talking to Shakib, thinking about his future, right? When will the president, Farooq Ahmed, speak to Chandik Hathurusinghe? I heard that he hasn't spoken to him yet.
No, not yet.
Very interesting.
Not yet, and I don't think that he'll have time to speak with him. Knowing Farooq bhai from a close, I think that he just wants to make Chandik Hathurusinghe feel that he's just a coach in Bangladesh team.
Okay.
This feeling he wants to make.
Yeah, well, coaches don't speak to presidents.
No. But the thing is that
true.
He just wanted to show him that you are just a coach of Bangladesh team.
I'm sure Hatu speaks to the cricket operations people, and
I'm not sure who is running the cricket operations.
No. But I mean, when for
Yeah.
operation purposes, I'm sure he speaks to Shadi and Nafis and all these people. I'm sure Hatu does, but Hatu hasn't spoken to Farooq Ahmed yet.
Yeah, Hatu hasn't spoken to Farooq Ahmed. Farooq Ahmed, from what it seems, that Farooq Ahmed is not very keen to speak with Hatu at the moment.
Okay.
He's just noticing how he's delivering.
Right.
And then he'll make a call and talk with him regarding what his plan or things like that. It's not going to be like the way Hatu used to sit with Nazmul Hasan and have a cup of coffee with him
every day almost. Yeah, things have definitely changed in Bangladesh Cricket Board.
But tomorrow's board meeting is what I want to say is that tomorrow's board meeting is very important in the sense that what I've heard that they have already chalked out some of the committees that have not been split as yet.
Right.
Who will take over what committees?
But before we get into that, will there be a discussion on the BPL?
Yeah. They have already made 7 teams. I think Kumilla is not playing. Rajshahi, a team of Rajshahi has been included in place of Kumilla for this year.
Okay.
But having saying that, this BPL is for 1 year.
So the contract is for 1 year. The franchise contract is for 1 year.
Yeah, because it's not a new BPL.
Okay.
You are running the last cycle.
Okay.
Remember the last cycle, 3 years.
Right. Yes.
3 edition cycle.
Right.
This is the last cycle. After this BPL, there will be a new board and everything will be new. So whatever team are coming in is not coming in for a long time BPL.
Right.
And one thing might happen is that they just wanted to see this BPL, the new team, the test case.
Okay.
They want to see whether they can prolong their relationship with these teams in the coming, because the next BPL might be a 5-year contract.
Right.
Because some of the franchises have already said that unless we are given 5 years, we cannot come up with any profit. So, but this BPL, there are a lot of talks about BPL. One of the things is that franchises have mentioned with the socio-economic condition of this country, they need to players need to understand that they need to cut down their prices. With the 4 players.
Sorry, which players? Local or foreign?
Local players.
Foreign players don't need to worry about that.
No, but there's also a.
No, why I'm saying that, Atif?
There's a lot of local players also complain to me about this thing that we need to cut price and.
No, look, this I don't understand. I understand that the country is going through a lot, and the country obviously. If you spoke about the BPL in August, it sounded very bad. Like
no, another thing is before going to this, I want to mention one thing that I wanted to understand that we are probably playing BPL at the wrong time. I'm just asking you, when you are playing BPL, there are 2 leagues.
ILT20 and
South Africa
Big
leagues.
Bash also. SF20, yes. 3 leagues actually.
3 leagues actually, and we cannot compete with them with money.
Okay, I'll come back to that.
But you have 1 league that you can compete with money, and that is PSL. If you play BPL when there is PSL, then at least some of the big players will come here, because the money is almost equal or will not be that.
No, I think there are 2 factors here, Atif bhai.
Okay.
I have heard that BPL actually is better than Big Bash, at par with SA20. I've heard. And in terms of financial, like paying the players, but maybe ILT20 pays a lot more than BPL. That's one point. The second point, I think the BPL franchises have shown a lot of interest towards Pakistani players. So, and now that PSL is probably moving during the IPL window, I don't think BPL, they have to find a new window. This is not going to work for them. And honestly, BPL is not an attractive package in that way. If you know. No,
another thing is that Isam, maybe we talk with managers. We talk with a lot of players. You also talk with a lot of players. Whenever I'm speaking with a manager, his first impression is that let's not talk about BPL because we don't know the date.
Yeah, exactly. There is so much, inefficiency, so much inconsistency with the BPL. It becomes an issue. Yeah.
So Farooq bhai need to understand that he has to have a 5 years calendar if he wants to make BPL profitable, and that calendar must be. And he need to understand that in this 5 years, what international cricket are there, with whom he is competing, whether he will compete whether he is willing to compete with ILT, or whether he is compromised with ILT and go for PSL or anything, or I don't need Pakistani players, I need big South African players. All these things he need to come before making the next call. One thing, and the second thing is that the board issue, you are saying that Nazmul Hasan's a lot of players. This will probably end the show today. And there's a provision that after 3 board meetings, if you skip 3 board meetings, you are ousted from BCB. But there's also a provision that if the BCB president wants, then he can give you more chances.
Okay.
And it happens with lot of boards.
Right.
I was talking to one of the directors on the board who runs big pharmaceuticals. He said that even he's also in the current board.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Pharmaceutical does not always imply that it's Nazmul Hasan.
Sorry, sir. Yes.
And he was saying that it also happens with our board.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is missing his board meeting in Acme, then
doesn't matter. I mean, if it's covered by the board president,
that doesn't matter. But there is a provision that they might be, and in most cases, it will be the provision that there will be the era of Nazmul Hasan officially ends tomorrow.
Right. Technically speaking,
unless Nazmul Hasan
appears all
of a sudden. But there's a possibility they have been given postal. They've been invited to postal
methods. Okay,
methods.
Got it.
And some of the directors I know that have got postal method and postal here. I'm thinking of coming over who are in Dhaka.
Okay.
Let's see whether those directors
It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. On that note, we end today's show. We have a test match coming up from Friday in Kanpur, Bangladesh versus India. We have a cricket board meeting tomorrow. And we are also hoping that in our next show, we will cover the Bangladesh women's cricket team who are heading to UAE to play the Women's T20 World Cup, which was supposed to take place in Bangladesh, but it has been relocated to the UAE. So until next week, it's goodbye from Mohammad Isam and Atif Azam from Daily Cricket presents Cricktalk.